All right, here I go. Hi there, everybody. It's me, Bennie, and I'm so excited you're here for another episode of Bennie's World. Today, I'm going to tell you all about a super silly adventure I had. It may not sound like a big adventure at first, but trust me, it turned into one of the funniest and most exciting things I've done in a while. What was it, you ask? Well, I decided to clean my room. I know, cleaning doesn't usually sound like a big deal. But for me, cleaning my room was like taking a journey through a magical land full of missing toys, wild dust bunnies, and silly surprises. I can't wait to tell you all about it, so let's jump right in. This all started when I woke up one morning and realized that I couldn't even see the floor in my room. Seriously, it was that messy. I had toy cars, stuffed animals, puzzle pieces, socks, t-shirts, and who knows what else scattered everywhere. I looked around and thought, Bennie, this is getting ridiculous. Maybe it's time to clean up. But I didn't want to just clean up by myself, feeling bored and grumpy. No way. I wanted to make it fun. So I called my friends and said, Hey, everybody, how about we throw a cleaning party at my house? We'll dance, listen to music, and pick up all the mess in my room. We can even have snacks. My friends thought that sounded funny and decided to come over. I was so happy because I knew cleaning would be way easier and way sillier with friends around. The day of the cleaning party arrived, and I was so excited. One of my friends showed up at my door carrying a giant broom that looked almost like a wizard's staff. I couldn't stop giggling. Another friend brought a mop and pretended it was a microphone, singing silly songs. Someone else brought cleaning wipes and waved them around like they were magic wands. We were all laughing before we even started cleaning. Then we turned on some fun music so the whole house felt like a big party. We had pop songs, dance tunes, and even a few goofy songs that made us laugh so hard we could barely stand up straight. When we finally walked into my room, everyone gasped. It was like a maze of random stuff all over the floor. There were books on the bed, shirts under my desk, and a pile of socks near my closet that looked like it might come to life at any moment. I dramatically said, Behold, the wild kingdom of Bennie's messy room. Enter if you dare. My friends pretended to be explorers, stepping carefully between toys and piles of clothes. We started picking up everything we saw, but we couldn't stop laughing. One friend nearly tripped over a teddy bear, and another friend accidentally stepped on a building block that made a loud squeak. I don't know why squeaky toys are so funny, but trust me, when you're trying to be serious and clean, a squeak can set off a wave of giggles. We all agreed to do different jobs. One friend grabbed the giant broom and started sweeping all the dust and crumbs on the floor into a neat little pile. I never knew how much stuff could hide under my bed until she swept it all out. She found candy wrappers, a missing puzzle piece, a couple of paper clips, and a very, very old cookie that had turned into something that looked more like a rock than a snack. Yikes! We made lots of jokes about how that cookie might have turned into a fossil. I was almost afraid a dinosaur might pop out of it. Another friend started organizing my books on the shelf, so they weren't just lying everywhere. She found a comic book I thought I had lost forever. I was so happy, I did a silly dance. I didn't even remember that I owned some of these books. It felt like a treasure hunt, except the treasure was my own stuff that I'd lost under piles of clutter. Every time someone found something I'd been missing, we'd cheer and clap like we were finding pirate gold. I took charge of gathering all my toys. That was a big job, let me tell you. I have action figures, stuffed animals, race cars, building blocks, and tiny little toy dinosaurs that I love. It was like rounding up a whole zoo in a parking lot at the same time. I kept discovering toys I'd totally forgotten about, like a little robot that lights up and beeps when you press a button. I was so excited that I pressed the button and the robot started zooming around the floor. Then my friends all chased it, trying not to step on it by accident. We probably spent 10 minutes chasing that silly robot before we realized, oh right, we're supposed to be cleaning, not running a robot circus. But hey, that's the best part of a cleaning party. There are no boring moments when you're having fun. Then came the Mount Everest of my room, the giant pile of laundry. I had shirts mixed in with jeans, socks rolled into t-shirts, and jackets piled on top of everything else. It was quite a sight. One friend bravely stepped forward and said, "I will fold these clothes," and we all applauded. It was a funny scene because she'd hold up a shirt and ask, "Bennie, does this one still fit you?" And I'd say, "I have no idea. Let me try it on." Then I'd try on the shirt over the clothes I was already wearing, which made me look like a giant blueberry if the shirt was too small, or like I was swimming in a tent if it was too big. We ended up with a giant pile of clothes that no longer fit me, which we decided to donate. That made me smile because I knew someone else could use those clothes. Meanwhile, I started tackling the sock problem. If you've ever tried to match up a big pile of socks, you know it's like solving a mystery. Why do so many socks disappear? And why do some socks never find their partners? It's like there's a secret sock dimension where they all go to have sock parties. Anyway, I spread out all my socks on the floor and tried to match them up. My friends helped, but we kept getting distracted. Someone would pick up a sock and pretend it was a puppet, making funny voices and telling jokes. Another friend tried to juggle socks, which didn't go very well. Socks don't exactly fly like juggling balls. We ended up with about 10 pairs of perfectly matched socks and a whole bunch of single socks that had no partners. My friend suggested we make sock puppets out of the leftovers, and I thought that was an awesome idea. We put them aside for a future craft project. Sometimes you have to get creative when life hands you single socks. While we were cleaning, we played music and made up silly dances. At one point, we all marched around the room with brooms and mops on our shoulders, chanting, "Clean, clean, clean," to the beat of the music. It felt like we were in our own silly parade. One friend spun around with a feather duster, accidentally tickling everyone who got close, causing shrieks of laughter. Another friend decided to vacuum but couldn't resist dancing at the same time. She ended up tripping over the vacuum cord, which made us all burst out laughing as she caught her balance. Don't worry, she was okay. That's what happens when you mix dancing and vacuuming, though. It can be a bit like a circus act. We needed some snack breaks, of course. Cleaning is hard work, especially when you're basically putting on a comedy show at the same time. We took a break for some juice and cookies. I plopped down on my freshly made bed, which felt like a cozy cloud compared to its usual state of blankets and pillows everywhere. My friends found a clear spot on the floor. Yes, a clear spot actually existed by this point, and we all sat there, munching cookies, sipping juice, and discussing how we wanted to set up the room once it was clean. Someone suggested putting my stuffed animals on a special shelf so they'd all have a place to live. Another friend thought it would be cool if I sorted my books by color so the shelf would look like a rainbow. I loved that idea. I also wanted to make sure all my building blocks were in one box and all my toy cars were in another, so it'd be easy to find what I needed when I wanted to play. We were excited to see how the room would look when it was finally done. After our snack break, we got right back to work. I decided to look under my bed, which can sometimes be pretty scary. I wasn't sure what I'd find there. Maybe lost socks. Maybe dust bunnies that could turn into dust dragons if I wasn't careful. I grabbed a flashlight, took a deep breath, and peeked under. To my surprise, I found a soccer ball I'd been missing forever, 2 old comic books, a pair of shoes I thought I'd lost, and a few random candy wrappers. It didn't look like any dust dragons were there, thank goodness, just a few normal dust bunnies that I quickly swept out. One friend came to help me, and together we managed to pull everything out from under the bed. I felt so relieved, like I'd just discovered a secret treasure trove. It was so nice to finally have everything out in the open. I even found a crumpled drawing I made a long time ago, a picture of a silly robot dancing with a dinosaur. I laughed so hard when I saw it because I'd completely forgotten drawing it. I carefully smoothed it out and put it on my desk, deciding I'd try to flatten it out and maybe hang it on my wall later. Speaking of walls, I noticed that parts of them were covered in funny little marks and smudges. My friend with the magic wipes went to work on them, pretending she was a superhero. She'd swipe a wipe on the wall and say, "Shazam!" Every time she did, the marks disappeared a little more. I joined in with a second wipe, calling out, "Pow!" while I scrubbed. We soon had the walls looking brighter and cleaner than before. It's amazing how little things like that can make a room feel so much nicer. By this point, we were seeing a huge difference in my room. The bed was made, the floor was clearer, the shelves were getting organized, and the closet, well, okay, I have to admit the closet was still a bit of a mess, but we were working on it. When it came time to tackle the closet, we all took a deep breath. If you've ever opened a closet door and had piles of clothes or boxes nearly fall on top of you, you know exactly how I felt. I was worried I'd open the door and unleash an avalanche of who knows what. But my friends formed a plan. One friend would open the closet doors, another friend would be ready to catch anything that fell, and I would stand by with a big box for clothes I wanted to keep. When we opened the doors, I felt like I was facing a dragon in a fairy tale. Clothes came tumbling out along with old shoes, some hats, and a random beach ball that bounced across the room. We all screamed in surprise, then burst into laughter because it was such a funny sight, everything whooshing out like it was trying to escape. Thankfully, no one got buried. We took a moment to catch our breath and then started sorting the closet treasure. Sorting the closet turned into a mini fashion show because I'd hold up shirts or jackets and say, "Still fits? Too big? Too small? Too silly?" My friends made funny faces, giving thumbs up or thumbs down. One friend said a shirt looked like it was made for a giraffe because it had such long sleeves. Another friend joked that one of my old hats could be a bird's nest. We had a great time deciding what I should keep and what I should donate. Meanwhile, we found some shoes that were way too small for me. I couldn't believe I'd ever worn them. My toes wouldn't fit in there if I tried. We ended up with a big box of clothes and shoes to give away. That made me feel good because someone else could wear them and I'd have more space in my closet. Win-win. Once the clothes were sorted, we put them on hangers or folded them neatly on the closet shelves. It felt so weird and amazing to see the floor of my closet again. I couldn't even remember the last time it was that tidy. We even swept inside the closet, removing a bunch of dust bunnies who'd decided to make a home in there. My friend used her magical broom to chase them out, acting like they were naughty little creatures. I made up a silly story about how dust bunnies are actually tiny aliens who like to live under beds and inside closets. My friends laughed and said, "Well, these aliens are getting evicted today." With that, we swept them right out. Goodbye, dust bunnies. Little by little, hour by hour, the room started to look more and more like a nice, clean place where I could actually do things, like play board games, build puzzles, read, and just relax without stepping on stuff. We were all amazed at how different it felt. It was like a big transformation. Before, my room had felt like a giant obstacle course where I had to step over clothes and tiptoe around toys. But now it was neat and organized, and I could walk from my desk to my bed without doing any fancy footwork at all. Of course, we had to have more silly moments along the way, because that's just who we are. Someone turned on a dance song, and we all started moving around with our cleaning supplies, pretending our brooms were dance partners. The vacuum cleaner made a funny whooshing noise that lined up perfectly with the music. We couldn't stop laughing. Then we got hungry again, so we took another break and ordered pizza, which felt like the perfect reward after so much hard work. We sat on the floor, now that we could actually see it, and shared slices of pizza. Somebody made a joke about how we should never lose a piece of pizza under the bed, or else it might turn into a fossil cookie. We all giggled with our mouths full. Good thing I had some napkins to clean up the pizza sauce from our faces. After that break, we tackled the finishing touches. One friend helped me decorate the top of my desk with a few of my favorite figurines, like a silly-looking dragon and a small statue of a famous cartoon character. We also made sure my books were in order. I decided to sort them by size first, but then I realized color looked cooler, so we made a rainbow. My stuffed animals got a special shelf all to themselves, so now when I look at them, I feel like they're greeting me. They seem happier all snuggled together instead of lying on the floor. I put my robot, the one that zoomed around earlier, on a special spot near my bed so I could reach it easily if I wanted to play. My friend arranged my race cars on a shelf too, lining them up like they were ready for a big race. It looked awesome. I never realized how cool my collection would look if it wasn't just piled in a box. I guess organizing can be kind of fun when you think of it like displaying your favorite things for everyone to see. Next up, I rearranged my posters on the walls so they weren't crooked. A friend helped me hang a new poster that showed a cool cartoon scene with bright colors. Suddenly, my room felt fresh and exciting, like a whole new place. I could hardly believe how much we'd accomplished. It was as if I had moved into a bigger room, but really, we just cleared away a bunch of clutter. It's funny how removing junk can make a space feel twice as big as before. We stepped back to admire our work. The bed was neatly made with a blanket that wasn't bunched up in the corner. My desk was clear, except for the lamp, some pencils, and a few fun decorations. The floor was vacuumed, and you could actually see the rug. My closet was organized, and my clothes were either neatly folded or hanging up. My toys were in boxes or on shelves where I could easily find them. We all looked around and let out a big, "Ah!" It was so satisfying, like stepping into a brand new home. I remember grinning from ear to ear, excited that I wouldn't have to dig through piles of stuff the next time I wanted to find a favorite t-shirt or a certain board game. One of the funniest things was how tired we all felt after cleaning, but how happy we were at the same time. My friends flopped onto my bed, and I lay down on the floor because it was clean enough to stretch out on. We talked about how silly it had been when we chased the runaway robot or danced with the broom. We also teased each other about the strange items we found, like that ancient cookie fossil or the missing puzzle piece we'd been blaming our siblings for losing. It turns out it was never lost, just stuck under the bed. I'm sure my sibling will be happy to know that they weren't the one who misplaced it. We took a big group photo in my clean room, and everyone held up a cleaning tool. We had brooms, mops, dusters, and even the vacuum cleaner in the picture. We looked so proud. I love that photo because it reminds me that even tasks like cleaning can become an adventure if you bring good friends, fun music, and a bit of silliness into the mix. I'm pretty sure I'll keep that picture forever, and whenever I see it, I'll remember this day when we turned a messy bedroom into something special. Now, let me tell you, once the cleaning was done, it really felt like I'd traveled to a whole new country, a sparkling clean country where everything is neatly in its place. I could suddenly find everything I needed. If I wanted a certain toy, I knew exactly where it was. If I wanted to wear a specific t-shirt, I didn't have to swim through a pile of laundry to find it. When I woke up the next morning, I almost didn't recognize my room. The sunlight came through the window and lit up the floor, and there was no mess at all for it to shine on. I felt so calm and happy, no more worrying about stepping on a piece of Lego in the middle of the night. Trust me, that can really hurt. Instead, I walked around like I was the king of a kingdom that was finally in order. My mom was so impressed when she saw the transformation. She was proud of me for taking care of my things and for donating the clothes that didn't fit anymore. I told her it wouldn't have been possible without my friends, who made the whole experience a party instead of a chore. She smiled and said she loved how we found a way to make cleaning a time for laughter and dancing. I was proud of myself, too, because sometimes it's not easy to start cleaning when the mess looks so big. But I learned that if you break it down into smaller tasks, put on some music, and maybe ask for help, you can get it done faster than you think. My friends teased me, saying, "Now that your room is so clean, are you ever going to let it get messy again?" I answered, "No way. I'm going to keep it super tidy forever." Of course, they all laughed, because they know me pretty well, and they know that sometimes I get lazy or busy playing, but I'm going to try my best to keep it as neat as possible. You know what helps? If I pick up toys or clothes right after I use them, instead of letting them sit on the floor. That way it never gets too out of control. Sure, I might still slip up and leave a few things lying around, but hopefully I'll remember how nice it feels to have a clean space. Then I can just put things away and keep my new country looking shiny and tidy. I also feel more confident now that my clothes are neatly organized. I don't waste time in the morning trying to find a matching sock or a t-shirt that's not all wrinkled. Everything is right where I can see it. That means I have more time to play, read, or even just relax before heading out for the day. It's amazing how much difference a clean room can make in your daily routine. I'm pretty sure my friends who helped me also felt inspired to clean their own rooms, though I jokingly said, "If you need me to help, bring the pizza," because I'm not sure I could do it again without the promise of more snacks and music. A couple of days later, one of my friends texted me a picture of her own newly cleaned bedroom. She said she remembered how much fun we had and decided to do the same thing at her house. That made me super happy because it's like we started a wave of cleaning parties. Maybe we'll make it a tradition, taking turns helping each other whenever our rooms get messy. Can you imagine a traveling cleaning party going from house to house? Each time we'd show up with a different theme, like maybe a superhero cleaning party where we all dress up like our favorite heroes while we fight the evil forces of clutter. That would be so funny. Anyway, the day we cleaned my room was definitely one of the most hilarious and surprising days I've had in a while. I never thought cleaning could be an adventure, but it totally was. It brought me closer to my friends, let me rediscover toys I thought I'd lost, and gave me a fresh, organized room that made me feel like I was living in a brand new world. If anyone out there thinks cleaning is boring, I'd say, try turning on some music, inviting your buddies, and making a game out of it. You might be surprised at how fun it can be. And if you find a few cookie fossils or missing puzzle pieces along the way, that just adds to the excitement, right? Now, as I stand here and admire my nice clean space, I feel proud, happy, and ready for anything. I know exactly where my favorite board games are, so if my friends come over, I can grab them in seconds. I also know exactly where my socks are, well, at least the ones that have partners, and I can find a clean shirt whenever I want to go outside and play. It's like I've leveled up in life just by picking up some brooms, dusters, and a mop. It's a lesson I'll carry with me, and hopefully it'll remind you that even small tasks can become big adventures if you let your imagination run wild. I hope you had as much fun listening to my story as I had sharing it with you. Don't be afraid to tackle your own messy room if you have one. Grab some friends or family members, put on some cool tunes, and make it an event. You might be amazed at how much you laugh along the way. Just watch out for any ancient cookies or stray action figures on the floor. Trust me, those can lead to surprises. Thanks so much for joining me on this adventure in Bennie's world. I love sharing my silly stories with all of you, especially when they involve turning something regular, like cleaning, into a day I'll remember forever. Having fun with your everyday life is what Bennie's world is all about. Who knows what silly adventure I'll go on next? Maybe I'll organize my art supplies or help a friend clean their attic. The possibilities are endless when you have a goofy attitude and a desire to make the most out of every situation. Anyway, I'm off to enjoy my newly cleaned room. It feels huge, and I think I want to do some cartwheels now that I have all this space. But before I go, let me say the words I always say at the end of our time together. This is Bennie signing off.